Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharp, and Della Borovic as Morgan Rawls. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band have won over the Duke. Morgan and Eli supervised the crowd and made sure no threats appeared. Valentyne supported Attikus subtly from the sidelines, and Attikus won the Duke's heart with a poem and the King's approval with a dowry. But will a shadowy conspiracy try to stop the royal wedding? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From the Lizardman Letter. Dear readers, it has been an age since there has been a wedding on Greybridge that has been nearly this eventful or exciting, as the beautiful snow begins to fall, as our final season of the celestial season is upon us. I think we can all safely say that we have never seen one quite like this. I know many of you will not be particularly thrilled that the Duke has pledged his heart to our mysterious returning Lord Van Houten, but I ask you to keep an open mind and open heart. After all the tragedy and disruption, surely it'll be nice to have a little bit of joy in our lives. And what else can come from a wedding on Greybridge but joy? The guests have been booted out of the property. The fall season is coming to a close, and Valentyne, Attikus, and briefly Morgan and Eli before you return to your boarding house. You have a moment to confer, although I guess you have microbeads now, so you can just chat at distance. So we'll say then that, you know, the grounds are being cleared. The poem went over very well. You've won the heart of the Duke, and winter will be upon you tomorrow, and it will be time for the final event of the celestial season. The Cloud Palace will dock, and you'll finally be able to get on the trail of the Eldari that you've been told is hidden somewhere in the palace. You are able to retire to your rooms for the evening. If there's anything you do as the party's clearing out, you can let me know now. Otherwise, we will move ahead to when you are all sequestered for the evening. The curfew is still very much in effect. So once you're kind of in for the night. But is there anything you'd be doing as the party clears out, or are we good to move ahead?
I was going to say that Morgan, in keeping up appearances, would definitely, on the way out, do a final pass through the house and just grab something that looks expensive to steal. Because that's what we do. It's a fuck you to Lord Van Houten, I guess, a planter or something that looks expensive and obvious, so that it's like, haha.
I was going to say, Valentyne, if he would be able to catch you in the house solo for a moment then, he would point out a very expensive item in the house that looks good because he has an itemized list with all the prize totals at that point. So he's like, that one looks very portable. Obviously, assassinations don't seem necessary at this point, though, however, if you could keep your eyes on Kyros and Versailles still, lizardmen facing their direction, especially as the murderers of Guinevere Barlansong, would be tremendously useful for us. I'm going to use security to make sure nothing goes wrong. Would you like to have Voidstain? Would that help you with your ruse? He is on this property and is currently of zero value to me.
I would not be opposed. I'm not certain how safe we can keep him, but it might do to keep up appearances.
Excellent. Just a second, and 2 minutes later, he's back with Voidstain just shoving a pajama-clad man, being, don't worry about Bobblestein, he's insane. All right.
Just say, when you open the thing,
I think I figured it out.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's
Come with
very
me.
insidious and goes back.
Fabulous.
It goes all the way to the top.
No, he's insane. I need you to have the same thoughts, but about Kyros and Versailles. But come on.
Dear.
Okay, so the one thing I'm going to require of you before your general freedom is you are now madly in love with the rogue traitor, Rolls Varn.
Yes, what about it?
Fabulous. All right. And he just brings him in and says, here you are, lovers reunited. Also, I hate you both.
Thank you for this very expensive item that I'm certain you will not miss.
How dare you steal from me? What a crime.
Let's go.
What is going on? Okay, off we go. Is it too late to show my art to the Duke?
Unfortunately, it is too late, but don't worry. It all worked out in the end, and you're coming with us.
Oh, okay. It will be nice to be out of that dank room. So do you want to hear my theories on Bobberstein?
Yes, come into the carriage. We'll discuss it on the way back.
Great. And he proceeds to just truly unveil a masterpiece of if-then that really doesn't align to anything you've seen. But the three of you bundle into the carriage and are off on your way. The various party goers who are leaving definitely make note of you leaving with pajama void stain. And there's a lot of commentary about that. And people are a titter about it, but you hop in and off you go. All right. So you all retire to your various, unless Eli and Attikus, did you have anything you wanted to do as the party clears out?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Attikus wants to talk more about, like, if we're getting onto this Cloud Palace thing for a wedding and all that stuff. Is he understanding that correctly, that the wedding would be held on the palace grounds? Yeah, and he's like...
The palace will dock with, there's kind of a large docking platform where the likely the wedding ceremony and other things will happen. In theory, then you and the Duke will retire to the Cloud Palace after it, lifts off. But it wouldn't be untoward to have Rabute with you because it's, you have a servant with you.
Yeah.
But that leaves Morgan and Eli out in the cold for now. But that's something you can sort out later.
Yeah, that's like Attikus is so just ready for us to actually do what we came here to do. That this is all almost behind us. So he's just really wants to talk brass tacks of just like what we're here to do, what's the strategy, that kind of thing. Because we haven't had a talk like that in forever. It's all been about navigating this silly ritual.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, Eli, the one thing I'll give you on the way out, just based on what you've been observing, is you see a couple terse words between Kuros and Versailles before they go their respective ways. It's not much. It's very quick. And Versailles seems actively to be trying to avoid it, but there's a
Who does Versailles actively avoiding it?
Because Kuros is there's some stink on Kuros right now.
Yeah. Is there any way to charge my last pistol? That was the only thing.
Not at the party.
Not at the
party. When you're back at your room,
yeah.
if you could make a fire or something like that, in emergency cases, last pistol mags can be put into a fire to speed charge them. It kills the length of the life of the pack, but you could theoretically do it probably if it's got an old-fashioned like boiler or cooking place in your hotel. You can
really only need it for like 2 days max. So or if if there's a fireplace in the room, then fuck yes, because I want more than a couple shots.
They mostly needed it to put all the tchotchkes on. So yes, no, I think that's safe to say.
Excellent.
That's how you blew up Voidstain's house, as I recall. Cool. Okay, so you return to your the boarding house for Eli and Morgan to the Ballensong estate. Because I believe you're still you can go back to.
I'm imagining after this going well, we could.
Yeah, you can go back to the Van Houten estate to your kind of safe rooms. You can see. As you approach, like Father Marcellus and Grimley are outside of the Marnie's song, just kind of like working on some calculations.
Inside the shield, outside the ship. Got it.
Yeah, kind of like doing what people trapped in a glass box would likely do, which is you can see them kind of like doing calculations and like assessing the shield and trying to figure out like what would it take. He gestures, like Marcellus gestures through like, is he pointing explosion, paper, working on it,
and the Royal Guard are also present on the property.
They're not like actively trying to do it.
They're patrolling. No, I mean, but the Royal Guard are on the property.
They're nearby,
right?
but they're not paying attention. Like
Great,
again, they don't have great military discipline. And honestly, the ship has been under. The reason they're out and about now is like the ship has been under armed guard for so long that people have just kind of they haven't tried anything.
It's just the background now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like this is a big dumb thing we need to guard.
Yeah, Valentyne would very subtly like nod his understanding and then be like, "The time, not now."
Like Father Marcellus like nods and like a fucking of course, but
perfect. Good to know.
He gestures vaguely like just in case.
Valentyne likes that. Kurt nod.
Grimly Moody just nods along because he doesn't want to. He's worried that Attikus can punch through the shield, so he doesn't want to.
Can't rule that out either. Yep. Cool. Yep. Valentyne would split the security again because we had like 90% of it at the Ballensong estate. He'd leave about 20% of it, 30% of it there to just keep up patrols. Just 24-hour patrols. Nobody gets that fucking house.
Dowry.
Well, at the same time, if somebody fucks with the dowry, they're just directly fucking with the king at this point. So it's not. We have to do enough to show we're protecting the investment, but it doesn't have to be a paranoid thing. Everybody else is coming back to this property because he's fully expecting assassination attempts. This is papering the windows. The inside of the house cannot be seen. This is full inquisitorial level paranoia about protecting Attikus and Valentine's lives for the next 24 hours.
Hugh Smiggleton is like, this is a good idea, sir. There's nothing that Clerk Drendington wouldn't attempt to get back at us.
Excellent. Do everything you think you can to stop Drendington, and then imagine he was even craftier and do more.
Of course, sir. Of course. Brilliant.
Yes, physical violence will not be off the table.
Oh my. I suppose I could give him a good smacking. A good 1-2. Give him the old fisticuffs.
I would say you try to do the spotting. We'll let security do the smacking.
Oh, very good. They'd be much better at it. Excellent, sir, of course. He just nods to Treseus as he goes by. It seems that his hatred of Drendington is higher than his concern and rivalry with Treseus. And Treseus, who is just a wreck because he's been up for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Just like nods at him as he goes by and says, the good news, sir, is that with all the preparations we are making for the party here to make the Eli's murder maze within the house, it is already well prepared for this. So if you are trying to make it defensible, it would be very difficult to mount an attack on us in here.
Excellent. I have more work I would like to ask you to do, but I believe you are not performing at anywhere near peak efficiency. Please
so
sleep.
That's what the drugs are for. I'm happy to keep going.
I love a dedicated man. All right, so there is something...
Just turns a knob at his arm. Like,
up to the third floor, please. They go up to the silence, the floor that we have swept and know is clear. All right, so there is something called the Seed that Forrest Pollard is looking into, and my guess would be, based on the information he is not passing along and the responses he made to my report to him, he does not actually care so much about the governor of this world, or perhaps this world at all. He cares about something referred to as the Seed. It's the same thing that was being searched for by the World Eater Marine that we engaged with, the one you discovered from the overall helm and the orders. I now know that it is a black orb, nearly obsidian, perfectly smooth except for a jagged edge where it is likely broken. I do not know if the governor has half of this seed or if they do not know where it is at all. However, it is the primary interest of Forrest Pollard. I don't like having a major thing in play that we have no knowledge of. If you could find anything you can in the Inquisitorial annals or anywhere else that will inform us about this seed in relation to this world, that would be greatly of interest to me. Perhaps one of the other houses has it. Perhaps the governor does. I do not know. But Forrest Pollard wants it, and I want Forrest Pollard's loyalty. We need to find it, or we need to fake it. If you can find anything, please let me know.
He nods and says, in my looking into this world, sir, I did not hear of any seed, particularly with regards to the chaos heresies that were here before. This was not mentioned. This was not
No, this would be
about.
tremendously older. The fact that a world eater is involved at all with the mark of armor that we saw means this could go back as far as the heresy. You will need to scrape ancient details to try to find this.
With the access we have right now, sir, I do not know how much that would be possible, but I will look into it, yes.
Excellent. If you could find any rumblings anywhere on this planet, it's equally valuable. Odds are, if Forrest Pollard knows, the governor, the king, likely knows, which would mean perhaps some of the houses do. Kyros and Versailles. Barberstein's insane. Voidstain's useless. Bolensong is dead, meaning there are two people in play I do not trust.
Yes, of the two, the Versailles house is responsible for most of the building on the planet. It is very, very old money. I would suspect if anyone has this information, it would be them.
Excellent. That's the lead to chase.
Very good. Cranks the drugs. Back we go to research. And he trundles off.
It's wonderful working with a professional. Colonel, how are you doing?
I am looking forward to dispensing with covers, sir.
Excellent. We are not there yet.
I understand. Glad, though, that things have gone smoothly, I suppose. But
swimmingly. It's been surprisingly excellent.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do once we're on that palace, sir.
Neither do I, Colonel. Our problem here is we have no possible intelligence on anything that goes on inside that place. We do not know layout. We do not know security. We don't have weapons outside of your arm, though it is tremendously powerful. Tomorrow we will have the wedding, which is useful. Then we will make our way onto the palace, I would assume. Then You may need to carry out married life for a day or two so we could begin to understand what we are facing, unless there's something that forces us to move more quickly. I would hate for us to rush through a palace without weapons and find ourselves massacred by who knows how many security forces and a space marine.
Well, fair enough, I suppose. I have a role, I have a place there. You, as Rabute, would likely have a place with me.
Yes.
How are we supposed to get the other two onto a floating palace if they're out of the competition and out of everyone's good graces?
That is an excellent question that I currently do not have an answer to. However, I do have a way to reach out to Morgan, and perhaps we could find out if she has a plan, or if not, try to put something into place.
Oh, well, that's good then. All right, do you have any orders for me, sir?
Maintain cover, search for advantage, play into the Duke's affections as much as possible. Right now, we have the Duke's love and the King's approval. Let's maintain that.
Oh, I do wish to speak to you on the Duke, sir. He
Speak away.
In private, he expressed dissatisfaction with the way the King rules. And he also spoke. I wish you were there, so it was a bit of that double speak that I just don't have an ear for, but it seemed like there's more to this competition, maybe, than just winning the Art of the Duke. It seems like, I don't know, maybe as the winner, I'm not going to get, or Van Houten's not going to get all that's coming to him. He seemed a little sad that I was so invested in winning.
Well, then now may be the time to appear to be invested in him, not in a way that would anger the King, nothing that would cause greater conflict or prevent the marriage, but now that you have, let's just say, his heart being tugged by the strings in your hand, you could discover things that we need to know. What are you missing? Now that the choice has been made, you can play things exactly the same way, but he no longer has the need to keep secrets from you if he knows that you're stepping into the castle, stepping into those current political dynamics.
Right. I think he trusts me.
Excellent. Good work. It's time to use that. Find out what you can. Push him for honesty, especially when in private.
In private, right. Yes, sir. Very good then.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, I guess we'll do a quick call with Morgan. And he just clicks over to the encrypted line so we can have our first group conversation in so fucking long.
God.
Meanwhile, Morgan and Eli, you've returned home to Cheswick's boarding house. All of your sneaky, don't break into my shit stuff is still in place.
Oh, lovely.
And you stoke a quick fire in the fireplace. It casts a nice warming glow over the room and makes everything a little toasty. And you don't give a single shit about that. You just need to charge a gun.
Yep.
So you get the tongs, and it's very much, like roasting a marshmallow, but it's a las pack. And you get there's a swift knock, a sharp knock at the door, and a note is slipped under with the royal seal on it.
Good God. All right. Oh, another one. And meanwhile, Morgan is also, while Eli is warming this gun, Morgan has been sitting with all the ammo.
Is Voigtstein in your room
yes.
with all the ammo?
Yes.
Okay. I just needed to picture that in my brain for where
he's
he
here
is.
with us. Yes. It's like, this is what it is right now. And so she has the ammo and she's trying to figure out how to get it into her gun or if she can reconfigure it somehow. Or
yeah, I think with this amount of time, that would be fine. Also, realistically, it's the hunting rifle you have is, I believe, from...
I have the one from Ball and Song, and then I have my own rifle that I brought from the hunt.
Guinevere did enough sort of like game shooting that I think it's not going to be like specialty ammo, but in terms of just usable ammunition,
ammo. Perfect.
Yeah. And Voigtstein is saying to me I could assist if it was pistols, but beyond that. Also, do you have my hereditary pistols still?
They were confiscated.
Oh dear.
And it seems that Versailles and Curos perhaps were the ones who were vying for your life and set your house on fire.
Wait.
And they possibly also killed Ball and Song.
Why?
And then a note comes out of
Why would they do that? Why would they work together?
She's going to go get that note.
So you crack the seal on the note, and it's another kind of missive from the king, which I guess I'll just do in his voice because it's easier than me being like, here's a note. But the note reads, so you've both done tremendously well. The Duke isn't dead, and neither are you. So that's how deals work. Good job. Look, I'm going to need some help, though, because I think with a wedding, people are going to be a little extra pissed off. And also, I don't know what the fuck Boberstein is doing, but I think we might be in for some unrest. So I've got a little bit of trouble with a missing space marine that I'm a little concerned about. So I'm going to need you two to attend with whatever you've got and make sure that nothing bad happens. I may even need your assistance with some killing or some guarding as I see fit. So be there. Don't get drunk. Don't be drugged up. Don't be distracted. Be ready to fucking help me if I need it. K. Okay. And you can say the handwriting's getting slightly more manic.
Cool.
And he says, sincerely yours, you know who, finger still on the button. Don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up for me.
Great. And Morgan will read over.
Why? Why
this
would they
note
work together?
and then give it over to Eli. Yeah, Voidstain's still there.
Monologuing.
And give that to Eli. Make sure Voidstain doesn't see it. It's only for us. And this is truly the question. They have a lot of mysterious things that they are doing. Perhaps they are not so allegiant to the king as they appear. So you should be careful. And if anyone asks, that is why you have been in hiding from them.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, dear. But why me? I'm the least threatening of anyone, despite my skill with the blade.
Well, apparently marking you as a heretic put a large target on you, and they wanted people to look away from whatever they have been doing.
But, oh dear. Do you think, if they're not allegiant to the throne, is it a coup?
You would know more about this society than I would.
Well, the king has no heir aside from the duke, but that's somewhat tenuous since he's a nephew and not a blood relative. I suppose if they were to both die very suddenly, he says very quietly, then someone would need to fill the gap. So maybe, oh dear, because...
Get there faster.
I'm sorry, do you have a plan? Do you know the inner workings of the society in a way? Because I'm very
Clarence, you spoke out of turn to the Lord.
My apologies, my lord.
All
It's been a
right.
long day.
You lost my guns. It's very disappointing.
He just turns back, just staring at the fire.
Also, I think you're supposed to open food before you cook it. Okay, so listen,
I'm just going to spend a story point on your behalf to get an answer out of Voidstain on this because I can't make him roll for your favor. That doesn't really make any sense. So we're at 1 and 4.
Okay.
he says, well, I mean, I suppose if two noble houses were to unify, that would make a better case than any individual house trying to seize the throne of Greybridge. It would be like, look, it's 2 for 1. And if Versailles and Kyros are working together, you have all the benefit of the old money from Versailles, who's built so much here. You have sort of the new money from Kyros. I don't think anyone would trust him to lead, but those are 2 powerful houses, and I don't think any of the other houses would unite other than maybe, I know Boberstein sounds like he wanted to marry Guinevere, but I don't think she would have ever gone for that. He's not very smart. So I suppose if Versailles and Kyros were to join and the Duke and the King were to die, then they would just be the default rulers of Greybridge. And if they don't hate each other, could they love each other?
See, there you go. You just needed a little time to put it together. But that sounds like what is going on. And thus we have to protect the Duke and make sure this wedding goes off the way it should. Van Houten and the Duke are going to get married.
Oh. And he looks legitimately crestfallen.
Yes, I'm sorry. I know that you wanted to win the pure heart of the Duke and all of that, but Be thankful that you are not dead.
Yeah, I suppose I am.
And he turns to you, Clarence, and he says,
Also, I'm sorry. I think I owe you an apology, Clarence. I've just been underground in a room for a long time now, and this has been a tremendously stressful time. I didn't mean to be short with you.
Eli barely suppresses an eye roll and just gives a curt nod to him.
Oh, good. So we're all friends again. Okay. So we have to protect the Duke. I suppose if I can't marry him, it's just best that he still gets the throne one day. I'm with you. You have my sword. Also, I need a sword.
Yes, it seems that we do. We'll work on that.
Well, it seems like you two have some things to discuss, and based on what your man Rabute imparted very strongly to me, there are matters I should not be privy to, so I will go run a very loud bath and put my head near it so I can't hear what you say. Feel free to stuff some things under the doors. I promise not to listen. Just don't kill me, okay?
Surprisingly, you are a good man. All right, go on.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
and he closes the door behind him, and you hear just like turns on the bath and presumably puts his head next to it.
She's knocking. Don't drown.
What?
Whatever. And then I guess we can have a...
Is there anything you would say to Clarence before this call comes in that you would say before this call?
Yeah. Because the thing is, when you do microbeads, is it sub-auditory or is it not? Do we have to worry about bugs in this room? Like, do Eli and I have to search for bugs in this room also? These are the questions.
I mean, how loud is the crackling fire that you've got going on? Because if you get close to that and whisper, you might be okay from bugs.
Yeah. I think it would be safe to say there's enough to speak quietly.
Yeah. That sounds good. So then she would just...
It'd be a fun whispered conversation.
Yeah. Just do it at full volume, but we'll just know.
She would just pull over Eli then next to the fire and be all like, look like she's cozy and up to him, but it's like, here's our ears. And then I guess she would just do a like ping, reach out.
Yeah, I think they hit at the same time. It's that perfect
both pick up the phone at the
synchronicity.
same time.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's busy.
All right, report. Valentyne would also hand a microbead to Attikus, so everybody's got one that they can kind of pocket or slip into ear as
do
necessary.
I have one too? Did
yeah,
you give an
he
extra
would have
one?
given two to
Oh,
Morgan.
excellent.
Ago.
Okay.
Yay, we can do it.
Thank
Because then we will have,
here.
in emergency circumstances, we have the ability to go live as necessary. Report.
I can confirm that Vernalia's Venom Blight Servitor does seem to be Lizzo Lizardman, and they are on our side as far as that is concerned. Voidstain had a good idea that perhaps if the two noble houses of Versailles and Kyros united, and then the Duke and King were to die, that a coup could be attempted, and perhaps that is what they have been planning all this time. We also got a note from the king that he is missing his space marine, and he is worried about them all getting killed, and he requested that Eli and I come in with arms to protect him. What do you have?
Interesting. Well, we have successfully achieved a potential marriage, so we will continue to play that angle, but it does raise large questions about tomorrow, and we don't have the ability to get you or your companions into the palace right now. The end of the ceremony, we would be moving forwards without you, which is less than ideal. You already clearly have established value to the king, and you have a threat. If you believe you could reach out to the palace tonight, I could forward you copies of my report that I gave to Forrest Pollard about the conspiracy, about all the other information. You have more information, and the world does now, about Boberstein than I'd originally assumed, which is he is clearly insane and arguably leadership deficient, meaning he could not run a conspiracy of this scale, which would suggest the snipers may be another ruse designed to throw aspersion away from Kyros and Versailles. If the king wishes to be as safe as possible, removing Kyros and Versailles tonight and replacing them with nobles from families that may be lesser but more loyal to the royal household would be the easiest way to secure the ceremony, which would mean 2 assassinations by rebels. He does strong verbal air quotes. That might have an affinity for, shall we say, ranged combat. It's an offer that could be made. It also implies that you are still not 100% aligned with us, but are 100% aligned with the king, and the Void Stain would add credence to your claims.
That is very true. I think if I could get that information, especially considering his message about his space marine, I could say that I stole it from you today.
Exactly.
That is a good option. I will see what happens with the king. Alternatively, if I could get back to the Marnie song and work through getting through that shield, perhaps there is another way up to the palace.
Agreed. Tom, from what I remember of the shield setup, it actually took the Royal Guard going up and setting up physical items to create the shield.
Yep.
From what Valentyne would know and from what we'd seen, obviously it is supervised by Royal Guard, so it's not like we can go outside and try this, but it should be possible to yank some pegs and shut that thing down if we had people on the outside, right? Because it's facing in,
theory,
not out.
Yeah, with the shield active, you could, theoretically tamper with
if you
stuff
go
on
around
the
and
inside.
bust the stakes, then the shield might shut down.
It is worth noting that from what you've seen of the Cloud Palace, like it has aerial defenses, so if a random ship was flying up to it, it would shoot it out of the sky. But yes, hypothetically,
there are possibilities there. We're not. This is not a great plan.
No, I will also say though, Morgan and Eli, based on the king's note, you're not sure how far that protection extends. He may need you in the palace.
Right. So it's possible that he may bring us up there anyway after the wedding.
Depending on how scary things get for him, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. If we continue to prove our worth to the king, perhaps he will want to keep us around as his personal bodyguards, even up in the palace.
I mean, that is quite possible. I can't rule that out. His level of irrationality is higher than I'd originally expected. The other thing is, if you manage to deactivate the shield and are bringing the Marnie song towards the castle, I don't know if the king knows about something referred to as the seed, but that's a card that we haven't played yet. And he just runs through the whole seed thing, so I don't need to do that again.
Okay.
But just and knowing the number of crystals and other strange artifacts that are in the possession of Gideon Kotov, there may be something he can cobble together that matches the description that we have, something you could claim to bring, or something that they would damn well reconsider exploding before it's found.
Yes. So once we need that, options will be available. And in the meantime, I suppose we wait and see how tomorrow goes.
Yes, you could wait for tomorrow, or you could, depending on how you feel about the king, suggest the assassination attempt. I don't know how useful you'll prove to be. My greatest fear is you show up as bodyguards, no one attacks, and then you don't get brought inside because it wasn't needed. I don't know. I expected an assault on tonight's event, and there was nothing.
Yes. No, I do think it would be apt to at least give the king this information, considering this hand that he just tilted. So if you send that over, I will pass it on to him. If you wish to put in extras that are only for his eyes, I leave that to you.
Yeah, Valentyne would just send over the reports. He would remove... No, that all makes sense. The fact that he sent it to Forrest Pollard, he'd be fine with sending. He would remove references to the seed, because he doesn't need to report the stuff that was found from the World Eater's helmet. Just the seed part. Everything else is there. He doesn't know if the king knows about the seed or not, and he doesn't want to establish a new piece of value that could be threatening.
So basically then you're sending the information about the conspiracy investigation.
100%.
Okay.
Conspiracy investigation, and with the additional... He almost writes up the additional points for Morgan to be able to put in her own words if she wants to include it. But the idea that with the Boberstein reveal, he's clearly not clever enough to have done this. It's probably aspersions. Penning in Voidstain's information, because you've had your I'm in love with Voidstain cover. That is like Voidstain's theory has been hiding out. All the evidence supports these two. Sure. Here's the behind the scenes shit. Floop. And then it's there. So everything that is conspiracy related is there. The Chaos Space Marine being discovered is also there, but that's because it was in Valentyne's report to be like, they stole it.
Yes, that's
Which
right.
you know you did.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
and
yes.
the king also has the
knows
body,
the body exists, so it all matches up.
Cool, perfect.
Great.
And then Eli, any thoughts? Attikus, anything?
Well, if we're talking about conspiracy theories, what I understand in the brief that we received is that this world was completely wiped out for heresy, and then all this was built up afterwards. So it goes to reason that that's likely when or where this seed thing came from, right? It's a heretical item, I assume.
I have the same assumptions, yes. Or
So,
at least tremendously powerful.
with Kuros and Versailles both being involved in design and construction, I mean, couldn't they have built something to house this seed, this, I don't know, powerful artifact or what have you? I mean, maybe they know about it, and just feels like their houses, industries and expertise would go well to constructing or concealing something. It's just a thought. I don't know what to do with it, but if they are working together and they're working together against the interests of the people in this world, maybe they know about the seed too.
How big is
They're
this
old
seed?
families.
I don't have specific information on the size of the seed. I just know it is black. It is ovoid. It has a jagged edge. The rest is very smooth. I'm assuming it's going to be something that is portable by a mortal to Astartes-sized being, because it was a question of what did we find on the body as opposed to what did we find next to it. It suggests it's not the size of a vehicle. It may be the size of a fist. It may be the size of a head. My guess would be smaller is more likely. Perhaps a fist. If we're looking at a portion of it, which the jagged edge suggests something had broken off, it could be 6 inches, could be a foot. I don't know.
Well, what does it do if a Chaos Space Marine
We
couldn't
don't
make
have
use
this
of it?
information, sadly. We just know they were seeking it, and so is Forrest Pollard. This world is outside of the Inquisitorial reach, which is also highly peculiar and suggests there is something strange going on here. Maybe a secret to be kept from the Imperium itself. It could be capable of doing anything or nothing. The important thing is we must not let it leave this world. It does explain the presence of the dowry, especially if the item has not been discovered, because we have the conspiracy of our ultimate quarry, the Cabal. This is a reason they would care about this world. Otherwise, it's a giant heaping pile of shit.
Yeah.
So, yes, the people who did the most digging are the most likely to have uncovered it, but they may not understand how to use it or its entire value, or they may know more than we do about the palace. Unfortunately, that does not change our plan. Eli, any thoughts?
My only question is how we get weapons into the Cloud Palace when we ultimately have to put down an Eldar. Can Toby fly up?
As long as there is nothing preventing him from, of course.
And perhaps that's the way to...
I mean, that's possible. It does have aerial defenses. My guess would be if you're being brought on board as bodyguards, you will be armed. There's no point in having bodyguards who are not. We can also take weapons off of the Royal Guard, or there is a chance we had filed a theft report about the weapons of mine that were lost, saying they were heirlooms of Lord Van Houten's. If he is marrying into the royal family, I suspect the edict on weaponry may change for him while traveling through the palace, which would then also change for me.
And I suppose we should assume that the king's done his due diligence and actually allowed us to enter with weapons.
Well, according to his note, that is what he wants.
Fine then, that makes that easy.
Take the weapons you want, and we'll either steal, claim, or reclaim whatever we can once we're on board and know it's happening.
All right. I have my orders. I need to get ready for a wedding, I guess. What in the hell do you do at a wedding?
You're going to attend, swear some needless vows, and lie through your teeth about loving your partner, which as far as I can tell is the majority of weddings.
All right then. Sounds simple enough. More the same.
Exactly.
We will see you tomorrow.
Excellent. Great job staying alive. The work you're doing is very useful. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Morgan, you can recover 2 of your perma-strain. Got an attaboy from Coach.
Done it. We've done it. All right. And
Still a
then-
bit of a social prize, so you got to keep the rest.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's for the world, not for the team.
Exactly.
Yeah, then I think Morgan would take the note from the king and go back out to the front, because if there is a curfew, there's guards out front.
Yep.
And she would have taken off the dress, so she's just in like the leotard, but she's taken the letter back, and I need to speak with the king right away.
And the royal guards both give each other kind of a look, and then they see what you're holding and go, "Oh, yes, of course." And one of them, like, it's a chain of radios. Where it's like, we got to talk. Okay, we got to talk. And then comes back around and says, here, you could use mine. And hands you like a Vox thing that's tuned to the frequency. I assume you go back to your room.
Yeah, I guess I have to make it be private.
Says, I'll need that back when
I
you're
will
done.
return it to you.
Okay,
Excuse me.
Oh, and on the other end, you just hear, "Hey, hey, what do you want? This better be. Did you get my note? I assume this is about the note. Is this about the note? It's about the note, right?
Yes, I got your note,
Yeah,
and
great.
I am very willing to do that for you. No problem.
Good.
I did actually, considering you are missing Space Marine. I found information from Lord Van Houten. He was doing a report back to your Forest Pollard.
Was he now?
I suppose you did not get a copy of this, but I stole one for you.
You see, this is Captain. You've proven to be a great asset. I almost feel badly that I have this trigger here. It's funny. You're gonna laugh at this. When I got a call from one of the other estates, they want to try and cater the party tomorrow, and I went to answer it, and I almost pushed the bomb trigger, and I wouldn't have gotten all this information from you, or maybe your friend. I don't know. One of you would have gone boom. So this is great. This is really, really good. So okay, so you got a report for me that should have gone to my pet Space Marine and didn't get through to me, so that's bad, but you are doing great. You're doing so good. You're doing so good for a couple of troublemakers. Look at you go.
Thank you.
Little troublemakers.
Thank you, my king. And a finer point on it, considering your concerns for tomorrow, along with all of this information that you can look over, but the standout is that it seems that Versailles and Kuros are perhaps staging a coup. And it may be easier to take care of them before the party tomorrow.
Wait. So are you suggesting that the king of Greybridge would in any way sanction the murder of two noble houses? Because if you are, I absolutely would and do. If you have evidence of this, if you can prove the case, and here's the thing, moving against the big houses is very troublesome. They have a lot of cousins. Everyone's a cousin, the whole network of cousins. So if I just do this, it's not the same as booting a bunch of lower houses off a ship. So I say yes. I say do it. You and your Clarence guy, you just do what you guys do. You're good at fucking shit up, so go fuck some shit up. That's fine. But I'm going to need you to explain it before the wedding, because if the other houses don't get a rock solid amount of evidence about this, then it's going to be coup town. And I just need this party to go well. Okay. It's very, very, very important in a way that I can't really underline enough that this goes okay and that this all works out. All right. So if you have enough evidence, and I'll read this or I'll have someone read the report and tell me about it, because I don't read reports. As long as you can prove it without a shadow of a doubt, then by all means make those heads go pop. Pop, pop, pop.
I will send it over your way, and you can make the decision on whether or not you feel it is necessary to do this publicly, or if it is something that my people can take care of more subtly.
Oh, no, the call has been made. I need you to do this. If they're plotting against me, they got to go. Just understand that if you can't prove it, then it will be on the two of you, and then it will be you going pop, pop, pop. You understand?
I understand, my king.
All right. Well, I trust your judgment. You just do what you think is best. Wink. He says. He never it's through the Vox coder. And he says, so yeah, just go ahead, make those problems go away, but just make sure you don't fuck with Lord Van Houten. I know you guys have some fucking problems, and I'm not a huge fan of how this played out, but I kind of need this to work. So just don't fuck it up for me, okay?
Yes. Our animosity has nothing to do with all of this, so
Great,
I promise.
Great. Oh, and I should tell you both. You do this for me. You do me a solid on this. You keep everything running smoothly at the wedding tomorrow. I'll have my folks take those bombs out of you. Okay, because I know Clarence is probably excited to get his crotch back in order. So I'll make sure that those things don't go boom; they go out. Hell, I'll even give them to you as presents. You can throw them at your enemies or whatever, or just keep them as souvenirs. How about that? That sound good, champ?
Yes,
Great.
I appreciate that.
Good. Okay, so don't fuck this up, and you both are free and clear. Just go on your merry way afterwards. All right?
Yes, have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow at the wedding.
Yeah. Thank you for all this. You are my favorite problems. Yeah, great. Thank you. Good night. Sleep well. I don't know how people, and you know what? It just cuts the call.
Mm-hmm. I will return it back to the guards outside.
The guard is legitimately chuffed that you did this. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, good work. She turns on a heel and comes back into the room. Now we gotta figure out if we have evidence. I want to look at the file now. I don't know.
Great. So you sit down, having both heard this. You sit down to start reviewing the file, and you just hear a thump on the bathroom door, and voice says, "Can I come out now?"
Yes. Are you dry and clothed?
Oh, I didn't get in the bath. I just put my head next to it.
So he comes out. He's still just as dirty as he was before.
I suppose it would have made. Oh dear, I wasted all that water. Okay, so how can I help?
We need to go through all of this evidence and find a airtight case on Versailles and Curios to announce tomorrow.
Okay, well, guess it's back to reading for old Voidstain.
And he comes and sits down and he says, "Look at us. What a team." And he starts reading the documents.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Laura Hamstra, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Alex Parr, Old Man Mojo, Dragonfly, The Body Barrelers, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, The Gata Family, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.